Greenwood here at the Crown B, and we're at Winter's house in our conservatory. So I'm sorry that there's crazy shadows, but this is actually the lightest room that we have here at Winter's house, especially in the winter. But we're gonna make some fun projects, starting with some customized candles. And the sky is the limit. You don't have to just do Christmas themed ones. This could apply to all year long. You could do so many fun things. I just took I'll show you what it started out as, a dinner napkin. Now you can use decoupage paper as well. I really didn't have any that had a Christmas scene on, but these are just napkins. I think I got this at the grocery store last year, and I had a few left. These were kind of fall and Christmassy napkins that I had. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to remove the backing from the napkin. That tissuey piece that kind of makes it a little thicker, you want to take that off. And the reason why is you want it as thin as you can get it to have it to adhere into, kind of embed into the wax. The other thing that you're gonna need is you're gonna need a hairdryer or a heat gun. A heat gun is super awesome because it'll quicken your job a little bit. Just be careful, and I'll show you when we get a little closer to using the heat gun. You can really melt the wax quite well, and then it'll start dripping. Now to me, I didn't mind that as much, but you can always go back and let it dry and set up, and then I go back and kind of smooth it out. But look how beautiful that is. So pretty. And then this one is the reindeer, and I think these are beautiful. We're also going to embellish these a little as well with some glitter, and this is kind of a snowy type glitter that I got at Hobby Lobby, where you would use something a little more coarse, and we're going to use Mod Podge to adhere it on. So we're going to set these aside, and we're going to work on this little guy, and I'll show you what I got to use on him, and I think it'll be about the right height. Now, most likely your napkin is going to be too tall for your candle unless you got a big whopper, and then it might be the right size, but for me, I had to kind of trim down. I would recommend before you start melting that to cut that, because what will happen, and this happened with this, and again, this is why I always do these projects ahead of time, so I can tell you the ins and the outs, because you know, that's how you learn stuff. You fail and you learn from it. So what I thought I could do was still take a paintbrush, which is what I do with my decoupage paper. I'll take the wet brush around and it just pulls apart at the seam. But this already had some wax on it, and it was very difficult to make an even cut because the scissors would pick up that wax. So I would recommend cutting that before you start heating this with your heat gun. These are the cutest little napkins, and I got these are actually vintage, a little bundle of them that I got off eBay. Look how cute those are. They're so cute. And this is little Santa Claus. So we're gonna cut these open. It's actually a 2-pack that we're gonna open up. I'm gonna set this aside. And this is where it's kind of nice. If you just keep on the lookout after the holidays, there will be a million napkins at your disposal. But if you want to make a gift, then this is the time to do it. Now also too, what I learned, see this little serrated edge, and I really don't have a choice in this because that's where his face is, unfortunately. And like I did this, I'm just doing the face of the candle. The back of the candle is still, you know, the plain candle, but we're gonna embellish that seam and you'll never know it. And probably end up doing this with Santa because I don't really have a choice. But if you get a napkin like this guy, see where's the one that I cut up, you can see that I have the opportunity to cut in the middle. And I didn't. And again, this is, you know, you learn by trial and error. So pick the middle part so you can avoid that seam. If you can't, in my case, we're just going to use some glitter around the edge and you'll never know. The other thing that I would recommend too, as I'm cutting, I'm going to cut it before I remove that backing because tissue paper gets very skinny and wonky, and I might even go ahead and measure my candle right now to see where I'm going to cut, and I want to make sure I have this little lip. So I'm going to make a little mark there, and I'm gonna cut this. That way you have a nice straight line, because for some reason very thin paper is difficult to cut. I don't know if the scissor can't hang on to it very well or not. How's your holiday going so far? Are you guys having traditions that you're doing? Do you guys go see the lights? Do you decorate your tree together? Let me know what your tradition is. I would love to hear. So you can see he's too tall, but we want to get his face in there for sure. So I'm just going to go down here and mark where I want to cut, but I want his lip too. I think I can cut right below his lip, and I think we'll be in business. Let's see. Then once I make my final cuts, we'll pull that backing off. I need to cut a little bit more, I think. And this is one of the things that I was bummed I didn't do ahead of time. So I'm even gonna cut a little bit more up here, just to give it a little bit. My scissors are not the best. I abuse my scissors so bad, I don't know if you guys do too. And that'll do the trick right there. Actually, I'm gonna trim just a tad more. But it's best to do this now than wait till it's on. Trust me, that was a nightmare. And I ripped some of the napkin, and then I tried to patch it, and it was difficult to patch actually, even with hot wax. But we're gonna camouflage that with glitter. So don't worry if you make a boo-boo. It gives it character. I just went up and fed the chickens, and they're loving this weather we're having today. It's so sunny. So this is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you how easy this is in live time. You have to do that. So you can see how it just pulls off, just like this. And it's very fragile, so be very careful. And that's what you want to separate from the napkin itself. I'm sorry if you can't hear, this thing is so loud. So we're just going to go on here. Make sure you have a surface that you're not going to catch on fire. And I'm going to line it up. And I'm going to go for the middle. My camera just went dead, and I don't know why, but I got another charge on it, even though it showed that it was charged. But what we're doing is we're going to, if it cut out before that, we're just going to be Mod Podging on the top of these little mushroom caps, just to give it a little bling, just enough to catch your eye. And you're just going to hold it over there and let the Mod Podge catch all those great little sparkles. How fun is that? Let me put a little bit more here, and then this will just show you what it'll look like. You're a little crazy there. But yes, check out my other 2 videos, you'll love them. We do porcelain, but we also, I teach you guys how to make mercury glass ornaments, or like faux mercury glass, to be fair, but it's beautiful. I am making them for loved ones to go on their Christmas packages. Now what you could also do too is if you make a boo-boo and you don't get it in the right place, it's still wet and you can go back and manipulate it where you need to get it. It's so pretty. And this will Christmas it up a little bit. But there it is. And I'll take pictures of the final project. Now we're gonna set this one here to dry, and then let's work on Santa Claus a little bit. He's still a little warm, but I think it'll be fine. And I think what we should do is maybe put it, see, where should we put this on Santa Claus? Maybe across his hat. Let's try that. Oops, I got it in his face. Let's give his hat some sparkles. And it doesn't have to be totally coated, just enough to make you think that's his hat. Here goes his glitter. Good old Saint Nick. Also too, if you've watched my last video, the sound was horrific and I don't know, and I was upside down in the first one, and then whatever I did, there was a tiny little part that I was still upside down, my intro. I don't know what went wonky. The sound was very low in the editing part of the thing, and when I uploaded it, it was very loud, and I'm so sorry. And then I took it down and then put it up with no music. So I hope you guys went back and watched it. It's okay now. It's okay now. And I'm not even upside down. I was able to fix that as well. Sometimes it just decides to go crazy, and boy, it sure did, no matter what I did. Kind of looks like the ball on his hat, the big fluffy thing at the bottom. Do you ever have days you can't talk? This is a day that I can't talk. A little puff at the bottom of his hat. That's super cute. And I may go ahead and do his mustache just because, what the heck. Let's just give him a little glitter up in there. And there he is, good old Santa Claus. Isn't that so cute? And that's just with an inexpensive candle. You can, I believe they still sell candles like this at Dollar Tree. I'm not quite sure, but you can get these just about anywhere, even off of Amazon for a big pack of them for $9. I think this is so cute, and what a beautiful gift that would be, all wrapped up in cellophane and a nice big bow. So cute. You'd never know it was a napkin, but again, keep your eyes out for napkins. I could also go back and cut out the holly and put that maybe around the back. I may probably, what I'm going to do after this part dries, maybe just go up the seam with more glitter just to kind of hide the seam. This napkin was big enough that I could wrap it all the way around, and I may add more glitter, but I think this is just perfect. And this one you're absolutely going to love. You will need an iron. We're going to set these aside here in a minute, but you will need an iron. Okay, we're going to go on to our next project, and I have Mod Podge from Pillar to Post here, so I'm just going to clean that up. And then we simply are going to go to our next project, because I know we're getting so close to Christmas. So I'm just going to move this tin this way, out of the way. What we're going to do now is probably my favorite today. I do love that. Is that we are going to take a canvas. I can grab hold of it. We're going to take a canvas like this. They do have them at Dollar Tree for $1.25. These I think I got, since I'm a painter, these are, I believe I got at the art studio or maybe off Amazon, but you'll need a frame, and they do have those at Dollar Tree 100%. Then you're gonna take, and you're also going to need a gift bag. And they also have these at Dollar Tree, and I think these are beautiful. There is a scene on the front and a scene on the back, although his still has glitter on it, and I love that one. And then you're gonna cut that out, and I'll show you what we did next. Well, first of all, what we're going to do, I got ahead of myself a little bit. We're going to remove the canvas, and I went ahead and did that ahead of time, so I wasn't boring you with doing that, but we're going to, you can see how this is attached with the staples. You're just gonna remove the staples, and it's gonna leave you with a really nice frame. It's just a little simple pine frame, and you're gonna set that aside for a moment, and then now you have the canvas. And then the next step that you're going to do is you're going to take your sack that you have, and you're going to measure how much you need from this to cover the inside of your frame. We're gonna be flip-flopping this frame, if that makes sense. So that's what I did, and I cut out my piece. Now what I did was, again, I'm glad I do this ahead of time. I went ahead originally, and I took my bag and I laid it down, and I got my pencil and I went all around it, but then that would not leave enough room to adhese it to the back of your frame. So you can see where I taped mine, which is fine. You'll never know because that will be under the frame. That's actually the part that gets glued down. And you also need a glue gun. Take this, and you're going to trim off these edges. And see, it's already bent for you, so you can see where you have to go. And you just get your scissors, and I'm going to cut along those lines that they've already made for you. Just cleaning that up. And so we're going to go along here. If it's easier to do it on the back, it might be. And there's two. So now you're left with a lovely piece of canvas. So then the next thing we're going to be doing, and we're going to Mod Podge this, and we're going to Mod Podge the side that has texture on it. A lot of canvases, you'll see this is a little smoother, and this one's a little rougher. You want the rough side. And then you're going to get your Mod Podge back that I left out. And we're going to Mod Podge this completely. This is one that actually your kids could probably do. You could do anything. You could do photographs. You could do anything with this technique. But I mean, $1.25 for the frame. You probably already have paint, and $1.25 for the bag. I mean, that's a nice little decoration you can put out for the holidays. Whatever image you get, you could get a bigger image on a bigger sack. I mean, they make pretty big Christmas bags for sure. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna activate it again so there are no bubbles or wonky paper or anything. So I'll come right back when this is dry, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna adhese this to the canvas. Super easy. Okay, we're gonna finish this project, or at least get a little bit closer. We are going to, the Mod Podge is on here, it's totally dry. Totally dry. We're going to add our image that we're going to want to put in the canvas. Let me grab this. I don't know why I put this down here. You're going to take your frame and make sure that you're in the parameters before you lay it down. This is such a cute project, and you could go so many ways. Now I have a mini iron. You could use a regular size iron as well. I'm not sure if a heat gun would work on this, perhaps. So this is settings on low, and what this little mini guy is going to do is he's going to reactivate the Mod Podge. This will keep you from getting buckled paper. So if you're ever Mod Podging to a flat surface, the key to that is Mod Podge up, let it dry, come back with a mini iron or whatever you have to make the heat. A regular iron again would be fine, and it'll reactivate the Mod Podge. So it makes it kind of handy. So we're just gonna go over here. Now keep your iron off the actual Mod Podge because I don't think that would be great for your iron. I'm sure you could clean it off with probably some goo gone, but. And this will help you avoid, if you've ever decoupaged, you know, have those little rotten bubbles. You're always fighting to get the paper flat. And this is a nice way to, it's already sticking actually. This is a nice way to reactivate the Mod Podge. And how I know that it's starting to set back up is that the iron's wanting to stick to the paper. So that's when I'm a little more ginger. I don't want to rip our paper. I just think of all the fun holidays you could do this with. It's a very inexpensive way to have an illustrated piece of holiday art. And then again, the Dollar Tree frames or wherever you get this. I like this one because the frame itself is a little bit wider. And you know, I'm a landscape painter, so I'm always have a plethora of canvases, but I do have my favorites for sure. I think it would be fun to find some vintage looking bags to do this with. How fun would that be? And this is pretty adhesed. And so the next step is I'm gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna come back and I'll show you what the next step is. But I love this, and I hope you guys love it too. I'll be right back. Okay, my darlings, to save time, and I don't bore you to death because I do worry about that, I went ahead and painted the frame this red chalk paint by my favorite paint place, DIY. And this is, if you ever want to watch the most amazing lady ever, Debbie Design Diaries, she's a hoot, but she's the one that makes this paint. And this is Kissing Booth. And there's dealers all around the United States that you can purchase this from. So we are going to distress this a little bit to make it look a little more antique. Look how fun that is. Do you guys watch Christmas movies? What's your favorite? My favorite is, I have a couple. I love It's a Wonderful Life. My husband and I love that. He always says I'm Mary and he's George. I love Little Women. I love Little Women. Meet Me in St. Louis. It's not necessarily a Christmas movie, but there's a Christmas segment kind of in the movie, and it's Judy Garland, and it's the best. It's the best. My grandkids, they love anything Christmas. My youngest grandson is into all the Home Alones, and he just laughs. He's only 4. He just thinks it's hilarious. And we're gonna just give this a little back, and I think we're all ready. This is just about ready to dry. Okay, this is almost dry, and I think dry enough that we can go ahead and adhese on our image that we have. I'm going to set this in my pan so I don't catch my table on fire. And this is where the devil is in the details for sure. Just getting it all lined up. And I'm going to tack this. Okay, we have her down. So you just want to make sure this is all nicely adhesed. And you can put a nice piece of maybe wrapping paper on the back or something, or a piece of felt. And there he is. Oops. There he is. Isn't he cute? I think this would be such a fun gift. You could also too do this in a regular frame for sure, but this is a way to do many of them inexpensively. Now what we could do, and I thought is fun, we could add some snow down here on the bottom to make it a little bit more 3D. So we have these picks, and there's that. And then we can add a little bit more, maybe greenery, little sprigs, maybe coming up out of his sleigh. You could just keep adding and adding, to be honest. You could get little baubles to put in there. I think I can. I think I can. This is why my scissors are in terrible condition. I might add another little piece to this. And here's a little tip. I buy these little silicone baking spatulas at Dollar Tree, and I use them so I don't have to touch it with my finger, because I probably would make the perfect criminal because I have no fingerprints left. I have burnt my fingers so many times on these projects. So here's a cute little wreath. These spatulas come in handy because then you can push down and really make contact with it. You could add some snow down here in the bottom, which I have this glitter here. I could do that, or an actual, you know, you can get the bigger, flakier snow, which would probably look a little more realistic. But there it is, guys. How fun is that? And also, too, you can take rub and buff and kind of bring out the gold that's in the legs of the sleigh. Oops. And a million different things. I'll add a little bow. So in our final photos that you can see the final project, I'll have this all finished for you. But I think this is a fun thing that you could just sit the afternoon and just keep adding layers and layers and layers. And it is very 3D looking, but I think definitely the rub and buff, or you could use a gold Sharpie or a gold glitter pen or whatever you wanted, just to kind of bring it all together. So there it is. I'll be back with the final project. Project. Honestly, this is the easiest of the projects and so much fun, and it's really beautiful. I found this adorable mug at Dollar Tree with little gingerbread boys, and then I found this silicone mold. It even has little candy canes. This was $2.99, so I got it for $1.50. And then I found a candle back in their candle section that looks like gingerbread. So I'm going to pop those in a jar, and then I'm going to add those to that pan. Now, do not add your jar to hot water. Let it all start out cold and then melt, and then we'll come right back when it's both. Okay, also too, the white candle is from Dollar Tree as well. You'll see those in the candle section, and often they're religious candles that have Jesus or Mary on them. So I'm going to melt them both, and then I'm going to reuse the wicks out of them for our project. You guys are going to love this, I promise. I'm going to fill the gingerbread boys with the colored wax. And I really can't film and pour the hot wax with one hand, so I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it'll look like after they're filled. They're kind of tricky to fill, but just do your very best. So just pour your silicone molds and let them dry. You can see I got a little messy. They are tricky. They're little tiny cavities to put this in, but I think it'll be cute because the important part is underneath. And then we have our wick in the cup, and we're going to let that layer dry before we add more. Here we are. We're getting close to the finish line for this project. This has to set up a little bit more. I want it to look more white, the color of the candle wax. You can see this wax goes everywhere, and it comes off the silicone very easy, and then I'm just popping it back in the jar that I melted it in so you can use it on another project. These came out beautifully. Look how cute that is. And then see that hole? I used a ice pick, This is an old one. It's probably my grandparents probably. And you're gonna punch a hole through there. And then we're gonna get to our next step as soon as this sets up a little bit more. I think this is set up enough to slide these little boys over, these little gingerbread boys. How cute are those? And also too, if anybody has seen this on YouTube, in particularly the gingerbread boys on the candle, let me know, because I want to give them credit. I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I could not find who it is. But if you know, please let me know, because I want to thank them. This is a really clever idea that you could do a million different ways. Little Christmas trees, Santa Clauses, snowmen, snowflakes. I also got these little boxes of matches, and I just think they're adorable. And so I'm going to include one of these, probably the red one, with this candle, so they can light their beautiful gingerbread boy candle. And also too, the scent that I put, the fragrance, is actually gingerbread. All right, I'm gonna lay the phone down, and then I'm going to come back because I can't do it with one hand. The wick comes up very easily, and I probably could use something smaller. I didn't use this, I actually used this to stabilize the wicks, and you'll want to do that for sure. You could probably maybe use a toothpick or something like that. The skewer though was great because it slid right through. Now we're gonna add another layer of wax, and I'll be right back. We have filled the wax up, and now you can see that it's transparent again at the top. And you can see I didn't go all the way. I didn't want to cover the gingerbread boy. We're gonna let this set up, and I'll bring you guys back for the final project. These are adorable.
Gaze upon the sky, Christmas on my mind, somewhere from a place up high above. There's a song of love traveling afar, seeking us to warm up every heart, to be your light into the night. Bless us with a moment of surrender.